Peace and blessings, brothers. There's an old folk saying that goes like this: you must laugh in order to keep from crying. You must laugh in order to keep from crying. It's not grammatically correct, but it goes like that. Welcome to the TS series, brothers. This is the Talking Shit series. And in this series, I talk shit about what I see and witness in social media. And this series is dedicated to the late great comedians Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Robin Harris, and Bernie Mac. I got my Richard Pryor shirt on right here. Brothers, in my last video I talked about Kendra G. Kendra G and the delusions of black women in their 40s. For those of y'all who have not seen that video, I suggest you go back and give it a look, because this video right here is a follow-up to that discussion. And in that video, we talked about the absurdity, the absurdity of women who decided early in their adult lives that they were going to put off marriage, put off procreation, that is, put off having a family. They're going to wait until they're 40, 41, 44, 45, wait until they're like 48 years old, like Tamron Hall, who had a baby at the age of 48. They were going to wait in order that they could pursue their careers, their profession, in order that they could basically be laborers, workhorses for white corporate America. In this video right here, brothers, I want to talk about something that is completely different from that, but it's related. Something that's antithetical. I want to talk about a woman, a different type of woman, different from Kendra G and your single, college-educated, professional woman who has all these abundant options. She can wait until she's 50 years old to start a family. I want to talk about Michelle Obama. I want to talk about the former First Lady of the United States, the iconic, celebrated woman, the wife of the world historical figure Barack Obama. And I want to talk about what Michelle Obama did right. What Michelle Obama did that a lot of these women who, you know, the Kendra G types, what a lot of those women did not do. What they could have done, but what they did not do. But I want to talk about what she did and what she did right. And what did she do right? She chose Barack Obama. And she chose him when she was 25 years old. She chose him early in her career. She chose him because she saw something in him. She chose him for pragmatic and strategic reasons. She chose him, hell, because, you know, she came out of a family situation where it just makes sense that people get married at a certain point in their lives. And, you know, she was the product of, you know, a two-parent household, mother and father, intact. She came from a community that was composed in that manner. But here's the deal. Michelle Obama is a woman who was celebrated. Michelle Obama is a woman who was highly regarded among women all over the world. People put her on a pedestal, and, you know, now she's this global role model. She is this iconic figure, and little girls are being told, oh, you can be just like Michelle Obama. Little black girls are being told, and black girl youth are being told, you can be just like Michelle Obama. Everything that happened to Michelle Obama can happen to you, you know. And, you know, from the young girls to the youth to the full-blown adult women, you just have all this worship, adoration, and praise. And again, a lot of these people who are talking about Michelle Obama and who are writing about her are other black women. black women who were in their 40s, black women who were in their 50s and over. You know, and a lot of these black women who are writing, who have been writing about Michelle Obama, even the Essence writers, the Ebony writers, you know what? These women tend to be single. And these are women who have never been married at all. 45 years old, doing an interview of Michelle Obama, talking about her life. And this woman who's the interviewer, ain't never been married. She likes men, but ain't never been married, all right? So listen, you got people like this author right here, Sophia A. Nelson, all right? And this is a book that's over 10 years old. And this book is called Black Women Redefined, Dispelling Myths and Discovering Fulfillment in the Age of Michelle Obama. This book right here, just, you know, it lifts her up as a model. And Miss Nelson, who is an attorney and also a commentator for MSNBC, is a woman who is in her 50s who's never been married. She's had a bunch of options now, but she ain't never been married, all right? She talks a lot about marriage in this book. Ain't never been married. And there are a whole bunch of other writers who are just like that. And what I find interesting, brothers, is that when you look at all of the journalism on Michelle Obama and the interviews, and you look at even Netflix, they have this whole documentary on her based on this book, you know, and they talk about her success and where she is, and they talk about the finish line now. You know, they talk about her as this woman who, you know, has all this glory and all this fame and everything, you know, after the fact. This is like, you know, after she's, you know, left out the White House. This is after being a senator's wife and after being a president's wife and after all this, you know what I'm saying? And they take, for some reason or another, they just take parts of her life and just remove it from the narrative. In particular, when she met Barack Obama and everything that went into all of that. You see, what happens when you look at the story, and she tells it here, she meets Barack Obama when she's 25 years old, just as she's beginning her career at a law firm in Chicago, okay? And so she's a young career woman. She is invested in her work and everything, and she's at this law firm. And there's this young man who's brought into the law firm as an intern. And she is appointed as this young man's mentor. And that young man is Barack Obama. She's 25 years old. He's 28 years old. She is essentially his supervisor, his superior. She's here, he's down there. She has to acclimate him to this law firm. And this is a guy who's just really beginning, and, you know, he was doing community organizing, and, you know, he's, you know, in terms of social status and income and all that kind of stuff, you know, he's not at the top of the ladder, but, you know, he's got that word, he's got potential. He's got potential. Shout out to Sherry Shepherd. Sherry Shepherd, who talks about black men with potential, black men with potential who are not very attractive, you know, because, you know, it's better for the black man to already be a master of the universe, to already be, you know, a master, whatever he is at the end, as opposed to him just having potential. But that's distracting from the narrative. Listen, so she meets him as a mentee. And what's interesting in this story is that Barack Obama, and her name was Michelle Robinson at that time, Barack Obama is enamored with Michelle Robinson. He finds her attractive. This is a tall woman. He likes her height. Not only is she a tall woman, but she's a dark-skinned woman. Oh, we got to throw out colorism, bicolorism. And he's so enamored with Michelle Robinson that he decides that he's gonna shoot his shot. He wants to holler. He gonna holler at Michelle Robinson. You know, I want to, you know, take this woman out. I want to get to know her on a, you know, personal level and what have you. And Barack Obama, as the story goes, tries to holler at Michelle Robinson, and guess what she does? she curbs him. Michelle Robinson curbs him. She curbs him not just one time, but she curbs him with every attempt that he makes to talk to her. And he made several attempts. Now, you know what's funny? We're talking about the 1980s. And the 1980s were not radically different from the 21st century. Today we talk about Me Too, we talk about, sexual harassment and all that kind of stuff, and, stuff on the job. You gotta be careful, you know what I'm saying? It's not a good thing, brothers. Y'all don't leave the women alone at the job. But Barack Obama, and they had sexual harassment policies in effect at that time. In fact, that was a decade when sexual harassment kicked in terms of policy. But Obama, like a whole bunch of people in corporate America and other places who met their wives on the job, women who met their husbands on the job, Barack Obama was persistent and was unsuccessful. And so as the story goes, he winds up leaving this firm, but he continues with his efforts in pursuit of Michelle Robinson, and he keeps on going. And eventually she gave the brother a hearing, and she heard him out. They went out on a date, and it's been dramatized in film and everything. And they went and to see a Spike Lee movie, Do the Right Thing. They went to Baskin Robbins. They had ice cream, and he was driving a Datsun. He was driving a Hoopty. He was driving a bucket. Okay. It's clear Obama was not a superstar at that time. Obama was not the celebrity that we know today. Obama was just a man, again, with potential, who was invisible to a lot of people. But here is what matters. They went out on a date and they developed a rapport with one another. They fell in love. Okay, they stayed together for 2 years until they eventually got married, and they got married in 1990 and 1991. And what's important here is this. Michelle Obama decided, unlike a lot of these women like Kendra G and her ilk, the ones who freeze their eggs, Michelle Obama decided early on to invest in this man with potential. She saw something in him. And maybe because of how she was raised and what kind of family she came up in, having a father and mother and being in a community that was similarly structured, she had a way of vetting and assessing men and understanding what's good and what's not good in terms of choosing a man. So she invested in him, not knowing what he would ultimately become, not knowing that he would become a U.S. Senator, not knowing that he would become the president, the 44th president of the United States. And guess what? He also invested in her. It was a mutual investment. He saw her as an asset. He saw her as being someone who was beneficial to his overall life plan. He saw her as someone who would be important to his vision. You see, Obama didn't just wake up when he was 38 years old one day and just say, you know what, I want to be the president of the United States. That just doesn't happen. No. When you want to be the president of the United States of America, you have those type of aspirations much earlier in life. Okay? So he already had a grand vision for himself when he met her. And he knew, meeting her, and he felt that she would accentuate it. And they have a very interesting story, and it was not an easy story. That is, their marriage was not one where they just walked down streets of gold, okay? It was a rugged path that they had to go on, and they struggled. And she writes about that, okay? She wasn't always a happy camper when it came down to his career and his choices. And he writes about that too in his autobiographical works. And he talks about her displeasure with, you know, his career ambitions and other things related to being a husband and taking care of children and having a household and all that stuff. All right. But what's the point? What's the point? This whole part of her life, her story, and the journey, the struggle, the road that she walked with this man who had potential, whom she didn't know would become a president, that whole part is just completely ignored. It's ignored. Obama was not a made man when Michelle Obama, met him. She was a part of the process. And brothers, the reality is, here's the reality when we talk about the Kendra G's of the world. Here is the reality. This is the reality, brothers. The reality is that these women have us thinking that there's all this abundance and that, you know, they can just wait at any time, and there's all these men that are always waiting for them and all that. At 40, at 41, 45, 46, so on and so forth. But you know what? You know what really is going on here? These women did not want to invest early. They did not want to do what it takes. They did not want to be like someone who was going into the stock market, where typically when you're investing in the stock market, you're playing a long game. There's no overnight success. There's no overnight return on your investment, you know, unless you're playing a very, very rare venture capital game. Typically, it takes time. Typically, you have to wait years and years and years for investments to pay off. And that means you have to have patience. That means you have to have delayed gratification. That means that you have to modify yourself in ways that demand that you have a certain type of discipline. And the reality is, brothers, is that a lot of these chronically single women who always talk about all this abundance and all these men around waiting to wife them up or whatever, they never had the patience. They never had the discipline. They did not want to put the time in, what it would take to be with someone of the caliber of a young Barack Obama, a future president on the make. No patience, none whatsoever. And that's a part of her story and her celebration and her worship that no one talks about. And hopefully, brothers, that the young women who are coming along are watching the Kendra G's of the world, and they're watching these women who have frozen their eggs, 45 years old, and just thinking that all these men are just going to just poof, 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 appear and readily fulfill their marital and procreative desires. Hopefully you got women, young women, word to Kevin Samuels, in their 20s, 21, 22, 25, 28, 29, okay, years old, who, if they want to be with a black man, if they have not been totally brainwashed by propaganda, anti-black male propaganda, all right, that the best thing they could do is to cash in early and don't wait till you're Tamron Hall's age to have a baby, to be married before, then have a baby. Y'all know how it goes to order. But unfortunately, brothers, I'm convinced that a lot of this is going to fall on deaf ears, that they will continue to worship Michelle Obama, even the younger generations, but they're not going to make the type of investment that she did when she was 25 years of age. They've been convinced that they can extend their life, that the sexual market will always be favorable to them at every stage of life, not just in their 40s, but even beyond their 40s. Becky and Becky's magic has been powerful. Her voodoo, very seductive, very impactful when it comes down to this Afro-American woman. But brothers, the most that you can do in a situation like this is to find the humor and comic relief in a situation such as this that is sad and